Alright, y'all. Hey. So, it's that time again. We are about to do an X the Berries episode. Alright, so we got some crazy questions. Well, not questions, but scenarios, rather. As you can see, husband is not here to do his little song that he usually do. We just gonna cut that out. We just gonna get straight to the point. This is a couple scenarios that I came across. Alright. So here's the first scenario, okay? It says, let's say you had a relationship with someone before you met your husband. Then you and your husband meet the person several years later to discuss a business arrangement. Over time, your husband becomes cool with him and you two act like you never knew each other before. If there was a chance of your husband not finding out, would you A, tell your husband the truth, or B, take it to your grave? Me personally, it wouldn't have never even went down like that. We not about to sit here and pretend like I don't know him. We not about to not tell husband what it is. Just from the rip. Soon as I would have got to the business transaction or whatever, meeting the person, this is such and such, I would have pulled husband to the side yo, I used to mess with bull, yada yada yada, right off the rip. Because then you risk running into the situation of them talking one day and then it come up, or them disagreeing on something and it come up being spiteful, or the other person lying, trying to make it seem like the relationship that y'all did have was a little more than what you explained it to be, but it's okay, you never told me. So it's just too much risk for something bad to happen afterwards. That's only going to make the situation worse. If you would have had to just been honest from the very beginning, yo, I know, boy, this is so and so and so and so, I had a relationship, and giving your husband the option whether he wants to proceed or he wants to leave it alone. But always leave that door open for an option rather than disaster later. The second option was take it to your grave. I do not, if that worked out for you, you tried to do that and it worked out for you, wonderful. But I do not suggest that. I'd rather just get it out the way and just deal with it head on from the beginning before it's complicated, than risk it being complicated. If it never turns into nothing or whatever, then you still kind of got it off your chest and kind of been honest about it. I don't believe in holding secrets. It's just too much. It's too messy for disaster. Too messy. So in that situation, I do not recommend waiting until later to tell them or holding it to your grave. Just get it out the way. Just tell them from the very beginning, look, this is so and so and so and so. This is how it was, how we used to go, and decide together if y'all going to proceed. Okay. So I came across this picture online. It says, to the lady of the house, if you're not going to wave at me, please do not wave at my husband. It makes me very angry and uncomfortable. I do not want to have to come face to face about this. So I'm guessing that this is how this went. It's probably a neighbor or somebody, and the wife is noticing that the female neighbor is giving her husband a little bit more attention than usual and is making her uncomfortable. Basically the question is, do you feel like her putting this letter in her door or on her car or whatever was the right thing to do? I say yes if you're a non-conversational person, because it didn't have to be the letter was very self-explanatory. The lady obviously know what she's doing. If I notice it, you know what you're doing. But it's kind of I don't know. It depends. I would have to get more of the background behind it. Was this are you just being insecure and you think that this is what you're seeing, or is it a situation where you can tell when two people have like some type of chemistry or like something going on? Like, are they both looking at each other and you just like trying to put it all on this lady? Or like, I don't know, men are sneaky, women are sneaky. I don't know. This is just a weird situation. I agree with the letter. I think that was a good call, because a face-to-face confrontation would either risk her lying and say, "Oh, I don't do that," or you don't know what you're talking about, or her saying something that you probably didn't want to hear, like, "Oh, you worry about me looking at him. He be over here Monday through Wednesday." Like, yeah, it's just a whole nother situation. So I think that the letter was a good approach, but I would definitely say something to my husband. Or you could also just speak back. Like, when you see her, speak to him. "Excuse me, hi, how you doing? I'm his wife." Introduce yourself. Let her know, this my man, he off limits. Like that. That's how I would handle that situation. Just speak back. All right, here's another one. If your husband asks you to unfriend a guy you just met at a bar last week and hit it off with, to the point that it's borderline cheating, would you respect your husband and unfriend this guy? Alright, just by reading that, I feel like it's a lot of, like, we're going to have to dissect this a little bit, because there's a lot of issues within this one question that's just out of pocket. If your husband asks you to unfriend a guy, let's not even go any further. Even if it was just like a random person, like the mailman. If he feels uncomfortable with you talking to that person, it's alright. He's asking you, meaning that you should respect it, and just, it shouldn't even be because it was a situation, or be like, it shouldn't have to be nothing else after that. He asks you to unfriend him, you might can ask him why, but regardless of what his answer is, he's uncomfortable with it, obviously, which is why he was asking you to not do it in the first place, or unfriend him in the first place. You should just respect it. Now, it goes on to say, unfriend a guy you just met at a bar last week that you hit it off with. What exactly do you mean by hit it off? Because it's one thing to talk to somebody in a bar, but what does hit it off mean? Like, did y'all exchange numbers and y'all talking after the whole bar situation? Was it like y'all met at the bar? And I don't know, because it says borderline cheating, so I'm guessing that they were talking after the whole bar incident. Number one, who are you in the bar with? Did you go to the bar by yourself? Because now that kind of insinuates that you were either upset about something and really needed a drink, that you went there to meet somebody, maybe the person that you were meeting wasn't there, or you went there to pick up dudes. Like, I need to know what the backstory is about this. But whether or not that was the situation, even if you was mad at your husband, you just needed to get away and go to the bar and have a drink, and you just so happened to start having a random conversation with this guy, alright, cool. But the whole point where it say y'all hit it off, for you to even use those words as a term of the rest of the conversation or the rest of the situation or relationship that y'all had, is like, hit it off is like basically saying that you like the person. Then it says borderline cheating. What is borderline cheating? Like, are y'all talking on the phone? Did y'all have plans to meet up? Was it touching involved? Like, what happened to the point where you feel as though it was borderline cheating? Because most people who feel innocent, or who's upset and they're just doing stuff, they don't consider that what they're doing is wrong. They're trying to justify it in a way. And in this question, she's not trying to justify it as anything innocent. She specifically used the words borderline cheating, which lets me know that, I don't know, like, this is weird. That kind of, like, it makes me feel like you was doing it to be smart. Like, did you tell him that just to piss him off because you was already pissed off? Or was you, like, really trying to, like, cheat with this guy and now you feel bad because your husband confronted you about it? Like, I don't know. But then it says, would you respect your husband and unfriend this guy? The fact that you have to ask lets me know that you don't have respect for your husband. That's just plain and simple. would you respect your husband? So you know that it's a respect thing that he's asking you to do it in the first place. You know that it's a respect thing because that's how you worded the question. Like, would you respect your husband and do it? Because you know that it's respectful to do it because he asked you. You knew it would be disrespectful if you did not. So I don't even know why. Like, the answer was already in the question. I don't even know why the question was asked in this fashion, because you already answered your own question pretty much. But I just feel like even if she did go to the bar by herself and the conversation did start, I feel like you went there with the intentions of doing something you wasn't supposed to do, or you never rethought. Like, once the conversation started and it started going elsewhere, or started getting too personal, or it started like becoming borderline cheating, you never stopped to think. So I feel like you went there, that's exactly what you went there to do. Me personally, I don't mind having a sociable conversation with a person of the opposite sex. But as y'all can see, my ring is big enough for you to see from across the street. So you seen my ring when I was in here before you came over to talk to me. I mean, we could sit here and chat it up. Yeah, how about those Eagles or whatever. But once the conversations start going into something else, I kind of start feeling insulted. Like, what made you think that I was going to disrespect my husband, disrespect my vow, and even go there in this conversation with you? Like, do I have like slut written on my forehead? Do I have like cheater written on my forehead? Like, what made you think that I was that person to do this with you right now? Like, I would feel insulted. And then furthermore, I feel like you disrespecting my husband because you know that he's here with this ring on my finger. So just because y'all not face to face, is like, that's just the same way when somebody try and holler at you and you're like, oh, I got a boyfriend. They're like, man, whatever, F your boyfriend. Like, I feel like you just said that to me because you sitting here trying to come at me or trying to have a conversation that would be inappropriate if my husband was sitting right here. You feel me? So it's just like, I would feel disrespected, and I would feel like you disrespecting my husband. So now I got to defend us both. And I'm going to cuss you out because you see my ring. You clearly know that I'm married, and you just tried me anyway. I feel offended now. I feel like you think I'm a hoe and that I'm just going to cheat on my husband with some random out of a bar. Just doesn't sit well with me. That's just my opinion. That's just how I would like handle the situation or whatever. But if you have any more situations, any more questions, any more concerns that you want to ask me, him, or us, you can hit us up in an email. The email is in the description box. You can hit us up on Facebook. You can text us, call us, whatever. But make sure in those comments, like, I want to have a discussion about it. I want to interact with y'all. Like, I want to, like, you know, tell me how you feel about it. And, like, let's talk about it. You know, comment, like this video. If you want more, you know, we got more. It's a crazy world out here. Many people is doing stuff that they ain't supposed to do, or, you know, don't know how to feel about a certain thing, or need advice on something. And we here. Let's talk about it. So I definitely want to see those comments. Let me know how you feel, what you think about any of those situations that I just read. Let's talk about it. See you next time.